Well, you were the one that told me to get out of my comfort zone. So if you really think about it, I was just taking your advice.
You guys are pushing someone out of their comfort zone at work. You guys have this lamb energy, okay? So lamb energy can be very codependent. And you guys could always had codependent energy get tied to you, okay? It could have been like in family situations, could have been in your past relationships. But right now, in your work environment, you have this lamb energy that's trying to tie itself to you to really learn. They see you as a pillar of strength in your work environment. So they had this insecurity as far as really having their own thought process, having their own type of knowledge as far as like how to execute their job properly. And it's okay to ask questions, it's okay to like get feedback from other people in your environment, but this person is just really turning this into a codependent mess. Okay, and you guys are not allowing this person to have this earthworm energy towards you. You're like, you know what, you're gonna have to get confident with establishing your own ideas, really taking the risk to do your own personal work. Okay, it could be a situation where like they're overly sending you emails, or they're trying to like overtalk you when it comes down to just like small details when it comes to the job itself. And you guys are like, you know what, enough's enough. You guys are embodying the shark energy here, okay? With this shark energy, you're taking the firm approach to let this person know, hey, you have potential. I see the growth in you. Okay. The whole thing about, being in a new environment, some of these people could be in a new environment with you, is to, learn the hard way, and sometimes, some situations you have to step out the ledge and really try for yourself to gain that knowledge and to gain that type of insight. And you can't depend on me to assist you with everything in your environment. I can't be your safety net. You guys are done, holding back on this energy. You're like, I'm letting this person know my thought process, because you guys could have been tied with this energy, not saying in this work environment, but like I said, in past situations with your relationships or with your home environment, and you allowed a lot of that codependency to drive you up the wall, and the boundaries between individuals were at a low point. But now with you knowing how this energy from this lamb can be, that it can be very draining, that it can be very distracting when it comes down to your own personal goals. Some of you guys, while you're trying to help this person make sure that their job is being done in an effective manner, you could be losing out on time as far as getting your tasks done. You're like, oh, no, 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 can't do that. Can't do that. We got to cut this off. We're gonna have to address this. And they may look at you saying, like, "Oh, well, no, you're being mean to me." And it's like, "No, I'm not being mean to you. What I'm telling you is, we have to have communicational boundaries in this environment. Okay, we have to learn how to do things on our own accord. And guess what? You're like, it's time to take some notes. Some of you guys are dealing with a person. They come to you. They probably ask the same question every day. Okay, they're asking about the same process every day. You're like, you know what, I have to bring this in. I have to let this person know, hey, it's time to take some accountability. It's time to really learn the process, and take notes about proper training methods that I'm trying to give to you. But you're not going to come to me developing this crutch when it's not even necessary. You're not trying to learn the job itself. You're just trying to have someone around you to make to really do the job for you. Okay, and you guys are no longer like allowing this person, you're seeing this person from like a new lens, which you guys experienced in this in the past. You guys already know that there's no bad blood in the situation. You guys just know that your boundaries are not going to be moved for someone who doesn't understand how to navigate in your workplace. Okay, you guys, like I said, you have this kindness to you, but with your kindness, it's a firmness to let them know that, hey, in your environment, you have to respect people in their place of work. You know how they go about things. This person could come in with a naive type of method when it comes down to interactions. So they come in, they probably, like I said, have a lot of endless conversation. They're trying to be sociable. In my mind, I'm getting a personality hire. You're like, you know what? I didn't hire you to be a personality hire. I hired you to do the job. Some of you guys, this could be your subordinate, okay? Some of you guys, this could be like a colleague that you have a lateral position with, but you guys are like, you know what? You were not hired to just bring the personality. You had the intelligence. Earth energy has a lot of knowledge and a lot of intelligence. With this person, they have to get used to being in their own mindset to say, hey, you know what? I'm establishing myself in this environment. I trust the process, and they have to trust the process. And with that process, it comes with it could be a few mistakes here and there, but they're learning about how to cultivate in the right type of manner with people in their environment. Okay, they're not going to have all the methods together when it comes down to being in a new work environment, okay? If this person's like, really new in a department, they're not gonna know everything, okay? And it's okay to be in an environment where you're like, I don't know everything, but I'm willing to learn, but I'm not willing to be codependent on someone's energy, draining them out. You're like, I'm not gonna be drained. You're saying that to yourself. I'm not gonna be drained, okay? And this, we're going into Mercury retrograde. You're like, I'm not gonna bring any type of chaos into my life because I already know that, in my new cycle, you got the cosmic egg. You're guarding your peace, you're guarding your protection, and you're like, you know what? When I see things that look familiar, that sound familiar, that is, very much so the same type of cycle that I've been through in the past, you know when to cut it off. You know when to take a bite out of that and say, hey, you know what? I'm not going to enable something when I know that it's going to be toxic for me, and it's going to be frustrating for you, okay? Some of you guys are like, I want to have a good kindred relationship with this person in your work environment with this lamb energy, but I'm not going to be somewhere drained, or I'm not going to be somewhere overstepping my boundaries when I know that they're capable of doing so much more, okay? You guys are going to have that tough love conversation, okay? And it's okay to have that tough love conversation when it comes down to your colleagues to let them know, hey, this is what I'm feeling. Okay, because sometimes the shark energy could sort of like, have this intimidation factor. So some of you guys could be in a place where you were in the past where, people knew something was wrong. Okay, they knew that you were circling around like, okay, this is getting on my nerves. Probably were not really comfortable with expressing yourself. You guys are like, okay, that season's done. I'm comfortable now with expressing myself to let someone know how I feel in the situation. Okay, you're not going to be somewhere holding back your tongue and just sort of letting that person just have you in the space where you're getting more and more, in enraged from the situation, or just being like, more and more frustrated. Could, it doesn't have to be enraged, just frustrated. You guys are like, with me holding back my energy, with me holding back my tongue, I'm not going to be in a space where this person thinks that, they come in with this, overly codependent perspective, that they're doing the right thing, okay? You're nipping things in the bud real quickly, especially when someone is coming into your new environment and they're not bringing what you saw of them previously, probably during the hiring process, or probably doing, like I said, when they first were hired, you're like, oh, wow, this person came in with so much potential. You're giving them the encouragement they need, but you're not allowing them to be in this blinded perspective where they're not aware of their own actions in the situation, okay? All right, guys, let's go into your tarot reading here. Let's get some further messages for you. All right, let's see here. So we got Page of Swords. All right, we got Seven of Pentacles. You guys in your head thinking about like, how do I go about this process? You guys know how to go about it, okay? You guys already see that, okay, with you observing how this person is, with you seeing that, okay, with them being in your environment that, they are likable, okay, but, they had this needy type of energy. And sometimes you have to, have those tough conversations, okay, to really stir yourself into the right direction so you won't be sitting back, in this complacent energy with someone where they're getting on your last nerves, okay? Let's go further. Pulling some more cards for you guys. All right, so we got the Four of Wands. With that conversation, it's going to bring about a good, steady work environment for you. All right, the Emperor, you're still going to get to your throne. Okay, we got the Moon in reverse. Okay, the secret's out. Sometimes it's good to have that secret come out for you guys. All right, so we have here Nine of Swords. Okay, we got the Four of Cups. All right, and then we have the Two of Cups here. They may be in their feelings a little bit. When you call them out, they may be in their feelings, but guess what? It's a necessary call out. Some lessons in life is not going to be an easy lesson. Sometimes you have to have those hard conversations for somebody to get the real picture, okay? That's just life. Everything's not going to be easy, okay? So we got the Hierophant. You see that you have that union going on here. All right, so we have here the Eight of Cups, and we have here the High Priestess energy that came out as well. And I'm going to end with one card here. One or two more cards for you guys. Okay, Wheel of Fortune and Ace of Cups. Okay, looking good. Let's get started. All right. So you guys, like I said before, you could be in your head trying to say, okay, what's the right thing for me to say to this person? But you guys already know, guess what? With that conversation, it's still going to bring about a stable environment. Okay, you got the Four of Wands here. Stability, happy work life, okay, happy personal life. Like I said, sometimes those hard conversations are worth having because we're like, raised in an environment where they were not given a lot of freedom when it came down to making their own decisions. But, with things in life, you go about growth. And sometimes when someone calls you out on your mess or calls you out on behavior that you don't even realize that you're doing, you're able to break free from that. So you guys are the breaking free person for this individual to have that conversation, okay? And sometimes having those breaking free conversations, they're hard to take, okay? But you guys are sitting back in your throne, okay, as the emperor, and the emperor always knows how to go about their business, okay? So emperor, it's energy here, so it could be female or male energy here. You guys already know how to have a head and heart decision, okay? You guys are making it from a logical place, but you also, like I said, have that compassion to let this person know, okay? I'm not carrying any secrets with you, okay? This is going to be a hard lesson to hear, okay? You guys are probably letting this person know, okay, you know what? In this environment, make sure that you have a timely effort when it comes down to your work, okay? Let's not try to get easily distracted with those around you. You guys are coming in saying, okay, even though I like your personality, okay, but you have to work on your independence. You got to work on your independence when it comes down to your work effort, okay? And you guys are just having that tough conversation. And this person, like I said, they may be in their feelings for a little bit. 9 of Swords, you got the 4 of Cups, okay? They're going to be over it. But it's the truth that they needed to hear, okay? The truth that they needed to hear. Because even though if they, are struggling with the message, they know that you meant it from a good place. You got the 2 of Cups here, okay? They're going to remember this conversation because no one called them out on their mess. No one called them out on this behavior. They thought that this behavior was something that was normalized, okay? And guess what? To have a successful type of energy, to have that successful type of work bond, you have to go about really having that respect for one another, and also knowing that, people in your environment, you can't drain them of everything they got, all their energy, okay? And this person could have been walking away from situations or had people walk away from them. You got the 8 of Cups here, and they didn't realize why they were being walked away from. They're like, well, Dad, why am I chasing people off? Why do people shut down? They were shutting down because they didn't have, the wisdom, okay, that you have. You're bringing in the wisdom of the situation to say, hey, this is the reason why people are shutting down. This is the reason why people probably in your environment were not really fond of some of your behavior, because you were in this place of being sort of overbearing to them, okay? Your energy could be a little bit strong, okay? You guys are taking that conversation and you're making sure that this person has the right type of affirmation in the process as well, but you guys are not holding back. Like I said, with this Emperor card here, you're not holding back your wisdom, okay? You're able to express your wisdom, and with that wisdom being expressed, okay, you found favor in the environment, okay? You're still in your wheel of fortune. You're still on your pathway to success. You have the Ace of Cups. With that conversation, it's going to bring strength to your team, because this person's going to work on their earth energy. They're going to work on their mindset and their work effort to bring in a strong type of capability that that they can bring to the team, okay? But, while they're doing that and while they're going about, making those changes, you're going to see that growth in your environment.
Who am I? I'm the greatest. Who am I? I'm getting paid. Who am I? I'm so flagrant. Who am I? I'm the greatest. Who am I? I'm getting paid. Who am I? I'm so flagrant.